Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this public. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest we have committed to our church. Amen. Honorable members, referring to Standing Order 32-2, I would request Sergeant at Arms to ring quorum bell for the first 5 minutes. Majority Leader, kindly confirm if we have quorum in the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have enough quorum to transact the business. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, could you please take us through the order of the day?
Order paper number 236 of today, Tuesday, 24th September 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, it is now statement hour. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to orders number 42 2C, which gives me an opportunity on behalf of the County Assembly to present and lay on the table of the County Assembly a statement informing the County Assembly of the business coming before the House on the following week. Honorable Speaker, this is therefore to bring to the attention of members and County Assembly that for the week commencing Wednesday 25th September 2024 to Tuesday 1st October 2024, the Select Committee on Assembly House Business at its last meeting approved the following tentative businesses appear in the order papers as follows. On Wednesday 25th September 2024 at 9 a.m., that is tomorrow, papers to be laid. The chairperson of the Select Committee on Peak Park, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, will table the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kisumu County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, financial year 2022-2023. 2. The chairperson of Central Committee on Infrastructure, Energy and Public Works, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, will table the committee report on the matter of perennial road accidents at Nyamasaria overpass and other hotspot areas within the county. Notices of motion to be given. The chairperson of the Select Committee on Peak Park, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, will give a notice of motion for the adoption of the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kisumu County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, financial year 2022-2023. The chairperson of the Central Committee on Infrastructure, Energy and Public Works, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, will give a notice of motion for the adoption of the committee report on the matter of perennial road accidents at Nyamasaria overpass and other hotspot areas within the county. 3. The MCA for Nyalenda A, Honorable Ratim Boiton, will give a notice of motion for the approval of semi-autonomous status of the City of Kisumu. On Wednesday, 25th September 2024 at 2:30 p.m., statements. The MCA for Kolwa Eastward, Honorable Ruben Nyakwach, will rise pursuant to orders number 41-2B to seek a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation regarding the ongoing mosquito invasion affecting Kolwa East and the surrounding wards within Kisumu East Sub-County. Commencements of business. The MC for Nyalenda A, Honorable Tim Boiton, will move a motion for the approval of semi-autonomous status of the City of Kisumu. On Thursday, 26th September 2024 at 2:30 p.m., commencements of business. That is, the chairperson of the Select Committee on Peak Park will move a motion for the adoption of the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kisumu County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, financial year 2022-2023. On Tuesday, 1st October 2024 at 2:30 p.m., the Leader Majority will issue a statement pursuant to orders number 41-2C on the business coming before the County Assembly for the week commencing Wednesday, 2nd October 2024. The business of the day. The chairperson of the Central Committee on Infrastructure, Energy and Public Works, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, will move a motion for the adoption of the committee report on the matter of perennial road accidents at Nyamasaria overpass and other hotspot areas within the county. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion. Adoption of the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of County Executive of Kisumu for the financial year ended 30th June 2021.
Yes, Honorable Kenauko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to move a motion on of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Kisumu County Executive for the year ended 30th June 2021. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, PICPAC, and pursuant to the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders 188, I wish to present to this House the report of the committee on the audited financial statement of Kisumu County Executive for the financial year 2020-2021. The County Assembly exercises oversight over county government entities or investments and their expenditure pursuant to Article 185.3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 through the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, which in turn derives its mandate from the County Assembly Standing Orders. Article 229.8 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires the County Assembly within 3 months after receiving an audit report to debate, consider the report and take appropriate action. The committee had held 2 sittings during which it received written Madam Speaker, the committee held 2 sittings during which it received written and oral evidence from the accounting officer on audit queries raised by the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Executive for the financial year 2020-2021. Honorable Speaker, I wish to register my appreciation to fellow honorable members of the committee, the Office of the Speaker, the Clerk of the Assembly, the committee Secretariat, and the Office of the Auditor General for the facilitation and technical support that made the production of this report possible. Special appreciations goes to the Hansard Department for ensuring that all our meetings with accounting officers are broadcast live. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, I now wish to table the report on the consideration of Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Kisumu County Executive for the financial year 2020-2021 and urge this House to adopt it. Honorable Speaker, Mr. George Okongo, the County Executive Committee member of Finance, Economic Planning and ICT, appeared before the committee on 13th August 2024 to adduce evidence on the audited financial statement of Kisumu County Executive for the year ended 30th June 2021. The following officers accompanied the CECM, Finance, Economic Planning and ICT. 1, CPA Martin Okode, who was also the acting Chief Officer, Finance. Mr. Elvis Omondi, Director, Budget. 3, Maureen Awur Onyango, Director, ICT. 4, Caleb Opon, who is an economic advisor to the governor. 5, Dominic Oluoj, who was the internal auditor. The following officers represented the Office of the Auditor General in the committee meeting: Daniel Kariuki, Director of Audit; Samuel Chege, Principal Auditor; Emma Bogita, Senior Auditor; Deborah Okemwa, Senior Auditor; Victor Maisiba, Audit Associate. Basis of adverse opinion. The following issues formed the basis of the adverse opinion in the audited financial statement of Kisumu County Executive for the period ending 30th June 2024. 3.1, unsupported receipts. 3.2, unsupported adjustment in the financial statement. 3.3, compensation of employees. 3.3.1, unsupported wages. 3.4, use of goods and services. 3.41, misclassification of expenditure under use of goods and services. 3.42, unsupported expenditure. 3.5, other operating expenses. 3.51, legal fee in relation to collection of rates. 3.52, claim by fabrication company. 3.6, unsupported expenditure on the other capital grant and transfers. 3.7, unremitted employees' pension contributions. 3.8, cash and cash equivalent inaccurate bank balances. 3.9, other matters. 3.91, budget control and performance. 3.92, late exchequer release. 4.1, non-submission of departmental financial statement. 4.2, non-compliance with the law of budget allocation to the county assembly. 4.3, non-compliance with the law on fiscal responsibility wage bill. 4.4, non-compliance with the law on ethnic composition. 4.5, payment of goods and services unregistered to unregistered suppliers. 4.6, irregular payments of annual subscription of Council of Governors. 4.7, completion of Nyangore dispensary. 4.8, failure to establish county emergency fund. 4.9, summary of non-current asset register. 5.0, non-remittance of revenue to county revenue fund. 5.1, non-compliance with the law on management of interest. 5.2, acquisition of assets. 5.21, improvement of Holo Huma Access Road. 5.22, improvement of Akado, Ukiro, Ridore, Achola Junction Access Road. 5.23, supply of security and implementation of vehicle tracking fleet management system. 5.24, construction of modern retail market at Kombewa. 5.3, pending bills. 6.1, failure on integrated revenue collection system. 6.2, integration of payroll data in IPPD. Observation in summaries. You know, I'm dealing with the moving notes. Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore summarized the following observations. 1, that the accounting officer failed to provide IFMIS ledger's account to support receipt of Kenya shillings 10,176,279, 10,176,279,174 shillings. During the time of the audit, contrary to the provisions section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015, which requires timely provisions of document to the auditor. 2, that the accounting officer failed to provide revenue statements from Safaricom to support its own source revenue of Kenya shillings 1,248,063,960, which was collected by the Safaricom through 65 pay bills account during the time of the audit. As at the time of committee deliberations, the same had been provided but not authenticated by Safaricom. 3, that by failing to provide evidence of complying with the provision of section 47(1) of Public Finance Management Regulations 205, the accounting officer also violated the provisions of section 53(1) of the same act that prohibits the accounting officer from authorizing payment to be made out of fund earmarked for specific activities for purpose other than those activities. 4, that that the county government and Ken Pundo and company advocates entered into an agreement, and from the agreement, the court ordered the outstanding decretal debt that stood at Kenya shillings 115 million in respect of the law firm be paid in 3 installments. The decree holder, Ken Pundo, and company advocates has been moving to court for enforcement of the judgment. 5. A law firm sent a demand letter in November 2020 to the county secretary in respect of Kisumu MISC number 236 of 2012, fabricating company limited versus county government of Kisumu, indicating that the county owed it Kenya shillings 98,885,826. The county government contested the claim alongside the attendant interest and penalties under case number Kenya Kisumu KSM HCC MISC APP number 236 2012. 6. That contrary to cash, this is accounting principle that was enforced, the accounting officer expend Kenya shillings 800 million 816 million 696,249 to country projects at a point of transfer instead of treating it as interbank transfer, and expense the same when actual expenditure is incurred and evidence of the same is presented. 7. That the accounting officer failed to provide expenditure return in respect to Kenya shillings 414,502,177 transferred to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital during the time of audit. The same had been provided during the time of committee deliberations. 8. That contrary to the requirement of Regulation 551(1), paragraph J2 of the Public Finance Management Regulations, that requires an accounting officer not to wait for suppliers to submit invoices to clear the commitment, but regularly have outstanding commitment checked and inquiries made from the suppliers. The accounting officer gave submission of invoices and statements as the major reason for delay. 9. That contrary to well-established accounting principles, the accounting officer recorded the transfer of a total of Kenya shillings 100,078,520 to the country education fund.
A point of clarity, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Benimiko.
Madam Speaker, I'm begging for instruction from your chair so that what is called the moving notes in this house are well explained and copies can be followed by the members. Madam Speaker, have a copy of what is deemed to be being read by the chair, but it's very difficult to follow him unless he tells us that his moving notes is on this page, is on this number. And if the moving notes are separate from what is detailed here, Madam Speaker, it will be very difficult for members to follow. So let us be clear on the content of moving notes, where they are per the pages and the numbers to make the report flow. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, if you are keen on the house, people are at a loss. So let us get the page numbers and where the reports are being read from.
Honorable Oko, I hope you have noted that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Proceed.
Madam Speaker, I was going through the summary of observations. We have observations, we have recommendations. Now, when you go subtitle observations, you know, this is a moving note. We can't. We had already circulated the report with you, and it is expected that you read the reports in advance, so that when we are moving the notes, you go as per the required movement. Otherwise, most of you will be lagging behind. Secondly,
Madam Speaker,
I'm still responding, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Oiko, I have not
Absolutely.
given you permission.
Yes.
And I support Honorable Chair on that. The report was circulated earlier for the members to get all over it, read it, and then by the time the chair is going through the moving notes, they are at par. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if you may allow me, Madam Speaker, the content of the report that comes to this House should declare, should not be ambiguous. When the chair is talking of moving notes, that is the only one who understands, and the general report had been circulated to the members, Madam Speaker. If the moving notes is citing a member cannot clearly connect with the general report, Madam Speaker, it becomes difficult for the general report to be followed. Let that be noted, Madam Speaker.
Understood, Honorable Oiko, but I think a moving note is just a summary of the whole report.
Madam Speaker, it would be quite hard for you to teach an old man a new trick of what is happening. You know, this is why he's still not using his laptop and all those things. You understand?
Oiko, I don't think that is in order.
You understand the kind of challenges, so we don't need to
Use the right words to honorable member.
It's a honorable
Yeah.
member, but it's old. It's honorable member, but it's old.
He's old but not old to be here.
It's not.
Yeah, so allow him to present his case.
It's not.
You can proceed, Honorable Oiko.
Madam
Let's go back to.
The utterances being made by Honorable Ouko, what does it mean? Does he mean that he's much cleverer than me? Does he mean he understands accounts much better than me? What is he portraying?
That's why I've intervened.
There are times when people feel big in this house because they were favored with committee chairs. They were favored with position. Then someone can come up and utter anything he likes.
Order, Honorable Oiko, your case is understood. Resume your seat, please, kindly. Honorable Oiko, use the right words and in this case, apologize. Withdraw and apologize.
Madam Speaker, I apologize by saying he's a young man, is fit to be in the house.
Oh,
I think that is the best word he's looking for. And he's also capable, he's also an accountant. So that is what he was looking for. I've said it.
Honorable Oiko.
No, Madam Speaker, the extent Honorable Ouko is going is uncouth.
Honorable Oiko, speak through me. I have to give you permission. Okay. Honorable Oiko, just do the right thing.
Madam Speaker, for the sake of seniority and old age, I'm trying to apologize. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, proceed. No, Honorable Odari, he has apologized. Let him continue.
What I've said.
Resume your seat, Honorable Odari. Just resume your seat kindly. I have. Proceed, Honorable Oiko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Just a minute, Madam Speaker. We are on a summary on 7.0. That is summary of observations. Number 8. Number 9, let me repeat number 8, that contrary to the requirement of Regulation 51(1), paragraph J2 of the Public Finance Management Regulation that requires an accounting officer not to wait for the supplier to submit invoices to clear the commitment, but regularly have outstanding commitment checked and required inquiries made from the suppliers, the accounting officer gave submissions of invoices and statements as the major reason for delay. Number 9, that contrary to well-established accounting principles, the accounting officer recorded the transfer of a total of Kenya shillings 100 million 78,520 to the County Education Fund, Constituency Fund, City of Kisumu, Afro Cities, Kisumu East District Hospital, before receiving the fund from the National Treasury. 10, that there were late exchequer release that affected the ability of the county government to meet its financial obligations in rendering services to the residents of Kisumu County. 11, that the management contravened Regulation 25(1)(f) of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2015, which states that the approved expenditure of the county assembly shall not exceed 7% of the total revenue of county government or twice the personal emolument of the county assembly, which is lower. 12, that the county government is yet to meet the requirement of Section 25(1)(b) of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2015, which requires the limit of the county government expenditure on wages and benefit for the public officers at 35% of the county government total revenue. 13, that the county government is yet to meet the requirement of Section 7(1) and 2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2018, which requires the diversity of the people of Kenya in the employment of staff and prohibit public institutions from having more than 1/3 of the staff established from the same ethnic community. 14, that contrary to the provision of section of Regulation 81(2) of the Public Finance Management Regulation that require receiver of revenue to promptly pay the revenue received into the county revenue fund as soon as possible, and in any case, not later than 5 days after receipt thereof. Thereof, the accounting officer failed to swipe Kenya shillings 72,224,115 collected through KCB by the close of the financial year, thus violated the regulations. The same had been transferred to the county revenue fund at the time of committee deliberations. 15, that the accounting officer failed to enforce the requirement of Regulation 93(5) of the Public Finance Management Regulation 2015, which requires the holder of the temporary imprest to account or surrender the imprest within 7 working days after returning to duty stations. 16, that the accounting officer also violated the provisions of Regulation 93(6) of the Public Finance Management Regulations, which requires the accounting officer to take immediate actions and recover the full amount from the salary of the defaulting officers within an interest at the prevailing central bank rates. 17, that contrary to the national Treasury Circular number 10/2020, dated 16th June 2020, on prioritization of pending bills by accounting officer, the county government had a pending bill dating back to 2013. 18, that during the financial year in question, monthly payment data, bank remittance data, and master data revealed that in July 2020, 8 employees share a bank account number, while in the month of March 2021, 2 employees shared bank accounts. Summary of recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the following summary of committee recommendations. The following is a summary of the committee recommendations. 1, that going forward, the management must adhere to Section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015, which provides for the timely submission of documents to the auditors. 2, that in future, the management must ensure that all third-party documents are authenticated before being presented to the auditors and to the committee. 3, that the county executive committee member, finance, economic planning, and ICT immediately constitute a task force to investigate and report on the matter relating to personal emolument of Kenya shillings 378,550,552. The report on the task force be submitted to the Assembly within a period of 90 days upon adoption of this report. 4, that the matter relating to unsupported expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 71,642,488 be referred to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for further investigation into the possible loss of public fund amounting to the same amount. 5, that on the matter of legal fee in relation to the collection of rates, the management make necessary arrangements to clear the outstanding legal fee in relation to this matter. A report on the status be submitted to this Assembly within a period of 90 days upon adoption of this report. 6, that on the matter of the claim by the fabricating company, the accounting officer fast-tracked the conclusion of the case and the report on the same be submitted to the Assembly within a period of 60 days upon adoption of this report. 7, that in future, the accounting officer must ensure that the expenditure returned to all transferred to the county government entities are provided during the time of audit. 8, that to reduce further interest on the matter of unremitted employees' pension contribution, the accounting officer is to make arrangement to clear the principal amount of Kenya shillings 134,698,892 and fast-track approval of waiver of interest. A report on the same be submitted to the Assembly within a period of 90 days upon adoption of this report. 9, that the management undertake appropriate measures to enhance the collection of owner source revenue to avoid over-reliance on the disbursement from the National Treasury. 10, that going forward, the county government of Kisumu must progressively ensure compliance with Section 7(1) and 2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2018. That in future, the accounting officer must ensure compliance with Regulation 44(1) of Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Regulation 2020, which requires an update of the suppliers list at least every 6 months as a requirement under Section 57(2) of the Act and in accordance with Section 71 of the Act. 12, that the accounting officer to fast-track the approval of draft asset management policy and ensure that the approval is done within a period of 90 days upon adoption of the report. 13, that the accounting officer fast-track the integration of the county revenue management system and ensure that the same is done within a period of 90 days upon adoption of this report. 14, that the term of reference for the task force constituted in 3.3.1 and supported wages include an investigation into the issue of the sharing of bank account numbers, which is yet to be addressed. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I hereby request that this House adopt this report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of Auditor General's report on the financial statement of the Kisumu County Executive for the year ended 30th June 2021. May I call Honorable Warindu Second. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Waredu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. From the onset, let me take the opportunity to appreciate the committee members for the work that they have done. Indeed, the report is very voluminous, and if you go through it one by one, there are so many issues that have been flagged off by the Office of the Auditor General. There are so many issues, and each and every issue has been discussed. If you had an opportunity to go through the report, I want to believe the report was sent by yesterday. If you had the opportunity to go through the report, each and every issue, there was the issue that was flagged, the management response, and the committee observations and recommendations. Then towards the end, there are a summary of observations where we have almost 38 observations that were made from the whole report, and more than 20 recommendations that have been made. And I want to believe, if you really mean well to the Kisumu County, this was a report that was worth going through, because it shows us how the county coffers are being used in Kisumu County. Most of the issues that have been raised that were flagged off, if you've been keen, we've been going through these reports from the executive. Most of the issues are just recurring. And I really wonder sometimes whether the executive usually take time to respond to these flagged issues, so that when we are dealing with the next report, we don't find the repeated issues being flagged off. Madam Speaker, if you go through this report, the major concern has been non-disclosure of full information, where you'll find most of the expenses were done, but there are no documents, there are no supporting schedules supporting the expenses that were made. And that's why we are getting adverse opinion. I think this is now the third year running with the same opinion from the Office of the Auditor General. There was a recommendation which was saying that the management must ensure that all third-party documents are authenticated before presentation to the committee during the committee deliberations, and they should also be present when they are being presented to the Office of the Auditor General for auditing purposes. All third-party documents must be authenticated, and that has been lacking in our reports. And I believe that we will have a recommendation that will be giving a very stern warning on this. Secondly, there is a lack of full disclosure of transactions. Most of the transactions that were made, there are no supporting documents. Then there is also lack of timely submission of documents to the audit and during the committee deliberations. And I want to believe that if the report is adopted, the executive will take this report seriously with the observations and the recommendations that have been given, so that going forward, we don't have an adverse opinion. And I second. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, now that a motion on adoption of the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of Auditor General's report on the financial statement of County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021 has been presented and seconded, I want to propose a question. And I propose that the motion on adoption of the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statement of County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021 is open for debate. Yes, Honorable Rakwech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the report that has been read by the PICPAC chairman, Honorable Kennedy Ouko. First, I wish to appreciate the membership of PICPAC committee, of which I'm part. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to really appeal to the implementation committee. We have lined up, or the chair has read a lot of recommendations in this report that if implemented, then it will go a long way improving the opinions of the Office of the Auditor General. Honorable Speaker, you get that as per the report, you get that there are some questions which are arising as a result of disclosure of the information. And especially the first case in the report is the unsupported failure to provide the supporting documents. There was a receipt of around 10 billion, but there was no IFMIS ledger provided to the Office of the Auditor General, Honorable Speaker. And if I can refer the members to the Public Audit Act 2015, if you read section 62 part 1 or subsection 1, then it talks about the non-disclosure of the information to the Office of the Auditor General. And the disclosure must be prompt, it must be timely. So failure to do that in itself is an is a okay. Yeah, that one is going against that law. It is in contravention of that section of the law, Honorable Speaker. And then if you go to part 2 of it, that is section 62, then it is well explained there that if any public officer will contravene the subsection 1 of that section, then that officer is liable to be convicted, to be sentenced for a term not more than, not exceeding 5 years, or to a fine of not exceeding, I think, 1 million, Honorable Speaker. So it is time we should start invoking these sections of the law, Honorable Speaker, so that these public officers can take their work seriously. Otherwise, I support. Thank you.
Now I'll consider seniority, age-wise, Honorable Komudo is older than
Many thanks, Honorable Speaker. Again, I do highly appreciate, cognizant of the matter age-wise, having allowed my son to sit down as I contribute to this debate. Thank you so much, my son, my fellow honorable member, as you take your seat back. I want to contribute very briefly onto the very good report presented by the very good, capable committee on PICPAC. Very good recommendations, wide variety covered. My simple contribution is to make the relevant bodies follow up on the recommendations. They are indeed vital. The seconder really expounded, and even the contributor, my fellow Mheshimiwa engineer, has expounded much on the recommendations. A number of us, we may not be the accountants, but we have heard the recommendations. may the committee follow up appropriately, and the House leadership also take it upon themselves so that these recommendations are done, considering the fact that these matters lies borderly on financial issues affecting day-to-day operations. Once more, many thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Obasa, it is now your turn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me start by commending the committee for the job well done. And this is a good report, very well elaborated, and I managed to go through it a bit earlier, and the committee has done a very commendable job. Madam Speaker, from this report, it's quite obvious that the county government failed the auditors. They didn't provide adequate documents to support their finances, their financial status. And through this, this is what brought the adverse opinion. The adverse opinion just means that they failed to comply with financial regulations. And that's why they didn't, the county government didn't receive positive response. And Madam Speaker, I want to commend the committee for a recommendation that captured my eye. There was a difference, a variance that could not be explained of about 71 million. And the committee has recommended that the issue be taken to EACC for further interrogation and investigation. So I want to commend the committee for that. I think that's the direction. Whenever there are amounts that cannot be accounted for, then action must be taken, and whoever is responsible must be liable for that. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to support.
Yes, Honorable Were.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to add my voice of support to the committee for a job well done. Madam Speaker, there are several recommendations that have been put forward, and I only want to react on recommendation 1 and recommendation 2. Madam Speaker, you've seen that recommendation 1 says that moving forward, the management must adhere to section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015, which provides that the timely submission of documents to the auditors. Madam Speaker, our officers are just ignoring to do the right thing. Many a times, when audit mentions are carried out, you find that there is failure to submit the required documentary evidence. Not that those documents are not there. They may be there, they may not be there. But it is their sole responsibility to ensure that such like document, if need be, are submitted timely so that those audit mentions, whether adverse or qualified. Madam Speaker, if we put strict measures, that will never be repeated, and Kisumu County will improve so that we have good audit reports, so that we can have confidence within our county government, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank my chairman for having steered this committee so well, for having made sure that we have teamwork and having ensured that good report is brought forward, which can make or ensure that our responsible persons who have been tasked with the different responsibilities have done the correct job, have given us a good name, and has ensured that public money is safeguarded. Because when you are given a responsibility, it means that we are adhering to Public Finance Management Act, which stipulate that prudent management of our finances. But that can only be done when we take our job seriously and we do the right thing. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Yes, our whip, Honorable Seth Kanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to oppose this report. Madam Speaker, this report, first of all, is painting Kisumu County in a bad picture as far as usage of public resources is concerned. Madam Speaker, you are aware that Kisumu County, under the stewardship of Professor Peter Nyang' is one of the fast rising counties going by the infrastructural development going around this county, Madam Speaker. That's why Kisumu is called Europe. So this report is totally contradicting what is witnessed as a result of development going on in Kisumu County. Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to concur with the Honorable Oiko Pete that this is a laborer report which could have been read to this House one by one, point by point, so that the House can dispense with this matter one by one, going by the nature of this report. And Madam Speaker, there is no hurry, even adjourning, to resume tomorrow to deal with this matter, because the standing orders provide for that, Madam Speaker. So sometimes, Madam Speaker, you need to advise the House or the mover of the report accordingly, so that we don't hurry in passing such audit reports for the betterment of our county. Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to ask the committee, these officers coming from the the Auditor General's office, first of all, they are coming from two communities. I don't know why. The officers just coming to do audit in Kisumu are coming from two communities, while the chair of the committee is telling us in his observations that Kisumu County is yet to meet the requirements of Section 7, Part 1 and 2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008, which requires some element of diversity, while he did not ask this Auditor General Office why they are just coming from the two communities. And yet they are always giving the Kisumu County an adverse report. Madam Speaker, if you look at some observations the Office of the Auditor General is doing an indication that the Office of the Treasury failed to avail printouts of the IFMIS reports, Madam Speaker. I don't think it's the duty of the county government to avail printout of the IFMIS as per the ledgers which required. The Office of the Auditor General can even write to the Director of IFMIS so that they avail the documents, because the IFMIS is not domiciled under the county government. The IFMIS is a directorate under the national government. Madam Speaker, that's an observation which I believe the Auditor General is trying to fix Kisumu County, yet that directorate is not directly under Kisumu County. Madam Speaker, the report has got 36 observations, Madam Speaker, and the recommendations are summarized as 23, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the reason why I'm concurring with the Honorable Oiko Pete is that the Assembly is rushing. The Assembly is in a hurry through the report read by the chair, which I believe some recommendations are good, but some recommendations are not good, Madam Speaker. So if the Assembly could be taken through these recommendations and observations one by one, and Madam Speaker, remedies are given to this Assembly, then we will be doing right thing, Madam Speaker, to the people of Kisumu, and at Assembly we will be doing oversight comprehensively. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, just rushing to pass this report for the sake of passing it, Madam Speaker, I think it is very dangerous for the Kisumu County. And Madam Speaker, we will be indicating to the Auditor General, the Office of the Auditor General, that as an Assembly, we do not understand our work. Because the report is very voluminous, Madam Speaker, and I don't know why we are rushing as an Assembly. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the government and as the Chief Whip, Madam Speaker, I urge the House to reject this report in total. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Sami Onyango.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this report. And I want to thank the committee for a job well done, Madam Speaker. That's the reality in the ground. That whatever they have done, that's the reality in Kisumu County. No matter how much we want to try like to paint the Kisumu Europe, Kisumu is not Europe. It's a Bonoko Europe. Madam Speaker, the committee has done a good job, but my worry is we'll implement it. That's another thing. Anyway, Mr. Chair and the team, that was very brave enough to bring that kind of report. You have done a good job. Even when we'll be doing the committee reorganization, just maintain the chair there. He has done a good job. And I support. Thank you.
I cannot see any member on his feet or her feet to debate. Anybody to call them over to reply? Any honorable member?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Going by the mood of the House, may I call the Mover to reply.
Yes, Honorable Ken Auko.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. For one,
Order, members.
Madam Speaker, protect me from Honorable James Omolo. This thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have, Madam Speaker, we have Honorable Warindu, who was actually trying to explain more on recurrent issues, which always recurs. Madam Speaker, this is an issue. It is not only on executive. It is cutting across. And the committee decided to come up with this recommendation. Whoever of these recommendations, they are guided on what to go and ask for. I thank a member for stressing that. Madam Speaker, we also have Honorable Rakwach, who also talk about implementation of these recommendations. It is right that we can come up with good recommendations, but if not implemented, it is like we are doing zero work. So, Madam Speaker, in your capacity as the chair, we need to stress on implementation committee so that they make a follow-up on these issues. We have Honorable Komudo. Thank you, Honorable Komudo, for appreciating from your opening statement that you are an old man. There's nothing wrong with appreciating your age. When you are old, you are old. When you are young, you are young. Like me, I'm in the middle age. I'm 59. I'm 49 already. Yes. So I just appreciate that. I can't say I'm a Gen Z. Thank you, Honorable Komundo, and giving us a thumb up so that we work hard. This is not for the committee of PICPAP or the chair. This is for the County Assembly of Kisumu. You understand what we are doing here. We are not doing for ourselves. We are not competing with anybody. We are not intending for that. We didn't know we will be getting some chair of PICPAC or chair of agriculture. But now that we are given the service and we are here, we are serving the people. I don't think it is a bad idea for you to feel bad to an extent of getting out of the house because you can say something. No, we are brothers. Let us take things positively so that we develop our county. It is very important. Honorable Baso, it's quite, we understand that we have been getting adverse opinion throughout, which is quite discouraging. I don't know whether it is the auditors who are giving us adverse opinion or it is the entity being audited, which is not providing all the required documents. But from whatever we have presented to you, you have known and understood very clearly that it is the entity being audited who should be providing the supportive documents so that we get an qualified report, which we consider to be the best so far. Honorable Ere, thank you for recognizing that we are here. We must stand to be counted on action, not just a matter of saying what we are doing. Truly, the assembly, if you compare with the second assembly, you will realize we have done a lot of reports. Not that we are better, as somebody was alleging, but the commitment we are showing in the committee and the kind of teamwork which is going on, and the kind of support you have been giving us as the House of Representatives. Thank you so much. Madam Speaker, thank you for your chair. Bwana Chief Whip, thank you so much for the kind of support you have been giving all along. It is only today that you are doing it differently. But always you have been supporting this committee, and we have always been reading the moving notes, Although it is up to today that today you have identified that we are having a moving note which is contrary to what you think is right. But for one, we must accept that this was agreed in the House, that in the sake of time, we have to go through the moving notes. Although everything is not static, it can be fluid, we can change so that when we start reading a report, it is a very big report of almost 200 pages. So if we can accommodate that, there's no problem, because laws are made for the people, and it's the people who can change it and do such kind of things. We are always guided by the rule of law, and we have what is called guiding principles and the rule of law. We don't get out of, it's quite, with the PICPAC committee, it is not easy for you to go for witch hunting, because you are guided by the PMF Act, which is stating very clearly what are required, what the kind of recommendations you can give. You can't just wake up and give a recommendation, but you must be guided by principles and the rule of law. As you know, this is a very important committee, just like other committees, and it is advancing so much on the public expenditure and management. So we have to follow the law when we are making recommendations. All our recommendations are supported. Most of these our recommendations can be challenged even in court, but we try as much as possible to involve in the legal mind, the researcher, and everybody. And more so, the committee is made up of almost 4 CPAs. These are people who have done so good in their accounting, and they understand more, so they advise us on these things. So when we come up with a report, we always ask you to support it, because this is not for the PICPAC committee or the chairman or somebody. This is for the House. When we do good, we will be doing good even to the citizen down up there. Finally, I would like to apologize. I felt so bad when I saw my fellow member getting out of the House because of a small slip of the tongue. Madam Speaker, to the House, I may not like to offend my fellow member because probably I'm the chair or something like that. But at times people make jokes. Maybe if it went so far, Vanessa, that he felt hurt, may you forgive me. Thank you.
Honorable members, now that the motion on adoption of the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of Auditor's General Report on the financial statement of the County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021 has been presented, seconded, and debated, I want to put a question. And I put that as many as of the opinion that the motion on adoption of report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor's General Report on the financial statement of County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021 as presented and deliberated upon be adopted, say aye. Aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay.
Hey.
And the ayes have it. And the motion on adoption of the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the County Executive of Kisumu for the year ended 30th June 2021 has been adopted today, Wednesday, 24th September 2024. Today, Tuesday, 24th September 2024 at 15:48 hours. And I want to direct that the recommendations of this report and of the House debate be forwarded to the relevant departments and agencies for implementation. I also direct that the implementation committee follow up on the implementation of the same. Next order.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, there is no any other business in the order paper.
Honorable members, there being no any other business before this honorable House, They all stand adjourned till tomorrow, Wednesday, 25th September 2024 at 9:00 a.m.